All right, so I'm out here with DJ, and we're talking about some paintball, and we're talking about his time playing with Wolfpack out of Malibu, and who are those guys in that gal mercenary service. So go ahead and introduce yourself, DJ. Tell me a little bit about your time and, playing in Malibu and how much fun it was, when you got started, and just, I don't know, anything you want.
Sure, you got it. My name is DJ Tona. I started initially playing paintball at Quest. I was about 18 years old, maybe just under 18 at the time, surfing on the weekend up there. Decided I wanted to stop for lunch, and I knew the nursery area was right adjacent to the sheriff's department. I noticed initially people running around with the old nail spot 007s and their paint tubes in their hand, and I wanted to check it out. Drove in the lot, and after that, next weekend it was on. I played every weekend from then out till the time I quit playing.
That's awesome. So what year did you say that was?
1985.
1985? Summer 85. Cool. And so it was Quest at that time. It wasn't Conquest.
Correct.
And so tell me a little bit more about Quest. Like, what was the dynamic at the field? Who was running it? Who did you meet right away?
Yeah, so I believe at the time it was Joe and Johnny Barber who were running it primarily. Those were the two main contacts that I knew. Of course, Jessica Sparks, all of which were on Wolfpack. I went out just as a regular grunt with a rental gun for several weekends. I remember the first gun that I got was the Sheridan short barrel.
PGP,
the
probably.
PGP, and then I went to the Sheridan long barrel. After that, I finally got my patch, my Wolfpack game patch, and got the Frank gun. And the last gun I had was the termite gun.
Yeah, the last gun you had while you were playing with those guys.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what do you remember about the Frank gun when you guys got him? Like, were you on the team when they kind of were given to the team members?
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't able to get the gun prior to me patching into the Wolfpack.
Yeah, they probably didn't give them to anybody that wasn't on the team.
No, they really didn't. They wanted to keep them on the team, and that was a good thing for us. They certainly were more accurate. We had much better range with them, and quite a bit better consistency, I think, than some of the field guns at the time.
So, I mean, I always say that the Frank gun is really the first purpose-built direct feed pump, regardless of whether it's a nail spot or a Sheridan, because the Annihilator would have come after that, and the Frank gun was really the first, and that would have been probably summer of '86 or a little bit earlier in '86.
I think it was around '86 I got the Frank gun.
Yeah.
I was playing the other two Sheridans preceding that and the 007 before that. So I think it was around '87, yeah.
And when you got it, how did you feel about your play style, like before and then after you got it?
It improved it. It definitely improved it, hands down. Like I said, the amount of range, consistent range that I'd have with the Frank gun, comparison to the other stuff that was out on the market, was just unsurpassed at the time.
That's awesome. What about playing against other teams? Wolfpack as a team playing against other teams with the Frank guns and with your, you mentioned your tactics earlier, which was a big part of your success on Wolfpack, but also the Frank gun was probably a huge part of your early success.
Yeah, absolutely. Between us having the Frank guns at the time and then just the inherent team tactics that we had.
Yeah, you guys just being dialed in together.
It was unbelievable. We were just congealed. It was like any military close quarters combat unit you'd have nowadays or any other SWAT team. We were just well-oiled, man. It was a combination of flanking maneuvers, front end, just offensive, and then getting angles on people, and then just mad dashes. I'd sprint and go after people that were pinned down. I had no problems with it.
Yeah. When you guys were playing as Wolfpack, like, what teams really stood out as, like, these are teams that are, like, possible competition for us?
I felt really good about playing the Kamikaze Shooters predominantly.
Yeah.
Sudden Death, I also liked playing. I really liked Joe Comstock and the two Vietnamese kids on Havoc.
Yeah.
Also, we played Navarone, although they were tactically a good team.
Yeah.
I had a unfortunate situation with one of them in game. So I'll just kind of leave it at that kind of blew out of hand.
Yeah, a little hot-headed or something.
Well, I caught him rubbing. I shot him in the right shoulder underneath his armpit, and I caught him rubbing as he was trying to come over a boulder, and that kind of ended the game. But I remember they were quite good at the time as well.
Yeah, I mean, they would have been one of the other like really big teams at the time.
Right.
They were winning national events, but when it came to like more Southern California events, you guys were dominant.
Absolutely.
You know, you guys won the Challenge Cup. You said that was 87 and 88?
Yes.
Yeah, and so tell me a little bit about what you remember about the Challenge Cup. It was like a series of games over like a period of time, right? It wasn't like all in one day. It was like one weekend you're playing one team, next weekend you're playing another. Is that how it was?
It was a bracketed system.
Yeah.
So they had the dry erase boards up, and it was a bracketed. I don't know if it was a round robin or what format they choose the opponent teams.
Do you remember if it was all in one day or if it was multiple weekends?
I believe it was over a weekend. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Cool. And so when it came down to it, one of the years you guys were playing against the Kamikaze Shooters in the final bracket,
Right.
and you guys beat them.
Yeah.
Tell me, do you have any memories about that?
I just remember it was a hot day, and my gun maybe was a little bit more than chronoed.
Yeah.
When I first went out.
Yeah, because I mean, to clarify, you guys are shooting constant air at the time, which, you know, this is 87, 88. You're playing constant air. All the teams there were most likely also playing constant air.
Right.
But, you know, it's just CO2, unregulated CO2. So
Right.
it kind of changes from the early morning when it's colder and then as it gets
Absolutely.
warmer. So
Yeah, the afternoon rounds, they were kind of coming in through the hooches a little hot.
yeah. So during those times when you guys were playing with both your Frank gun and later your termite gun, you had adjustable bolts, right? Like you could adjust your velocity through dialing your bolt?
No, we actually had to disassemble the guns. And both the Frank gun and the termite gun, you had to actually disassemble it and put in a different spring.
Gotcha, because you're using just your stock nail spot internals
Correct.
in those, and there's no adjustable bolt in
Right.
that. So you're just changing your springs out, and you have a series of lighter to heavier mainsprings, and you're just kind of going with that.
Right, exactly.
Gotcha.
And that, like you had indicated too, is going to vary between, you know, time of day in the morning when it's
Yeah.
colder.
Yeah, for
You're going
sure.
to not shoot quite as firm as you will in the afternoon.
Cool.
Also, after a fresh fill of CO2, you're not going to have the same power as when that expands out.
Yeah. So you had sent me a photo of yourself holding a rattlesnake with your Frank gun. Can you tell me a little bit about that photo?
Yeah, I can. Actually, we were playing a tournament. I think Joe Comstock was out at Hopetown, out near Magic Mountain.
Yeah.
And I distinctly remember when I played on Wolfpack, they always wanted me to pretty much be the runner. I was the youngest kid, so I took the high ground on the hill, and I noticed that there was a very large boulder that was about shoulder high if you were parallel with the path.
Yeah.
And my teammate Jessica Sparks was walking around the boulder where there was a coiled up rattlesnake.
Yeah.
He was coiled up sunning. I don't know if he was napping or what have you. But I noticed he actually started to raise his head, not to actually latch forward, but he did raise his head up.
Yeah.
And I went for it. I took one shot out of a pump gun. One shot, hit him in the head, went down on it, and I thought I was pulling its head off. It actually turned around and hit me on the forearm. And I thought he actually bit me. I was kind of scared, so I threw the snake down, took a step back, and noticed his head was under my foot. So that ended up working out well.
It was just the body kind of
It was just the body coming around, absolutely. But skinned it, barbecued it, ate it that weekend.
Nice.
Someone was nice enough to cut off and steal my rattle from it, which I'm still a little miffed about to this day, but what are you going to do?
Yeah. So you mentioned Jessica, and throughout your time both on Wolfpack and on Who Are Those Guys, you played a lot with Johnny Barber and Jessica Sparks.
That's correct.
Do you have any other memories with them? And that was around the time when APG started, and she had written for Frontline, I think, prior to that, and she was probably writing for or getting involved with both the IPPA and with APG around that time?
Yeah, she was pretty heavy into writing as well. I just remember, you know, great team games, camaraderie on the field, and then obviously at the end of the day, we hit up one of the local Mexican restaurants up in Malibu and had some phenomenal times up there with fajitas and margaritas and just a bunch of good laughs.
That's awesome. Very cool. Well, thanks for sharing your story, DJ.
Sure thing. Anytime.
Yeah. Send me some more photos when you find them.
Will do.
Awesome. Thanks.